Hey, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, with another edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. Now, what am I actually talking about getting done? A brand new book by January 1st, 2021. In order to do that, I've been going live via live stream, just like tonight, for, let's see, how many consecutive days so far? 176. Yeah, 176 consecutive days so far. And I've got another 124 to go before December 31st, 2020. I have to have the book done by then because then I have to deal with the formatting and get all that stuff ready to upload press-ready PDF files to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing space on January 1st, 2021. It's an insane goal, but it's one that I'm making and one that I'm keeping because you're forcing me to. You know, the peer pressure you're putting on me is making me actually work on this book every night for so many nights consecutively. So thank you for that. I appreciate the peer pressure because that's what's going to get this book done. And what I work on when I come down here at night is a number of things. I'll do some writing in some cases. I'll do some editing, proofreading, and all that stuff in other cases. And also things like designing and outlining or mind mapping the book. Well, I've done a lot of that stuff already, and now it's time for me to actually get some writing done. And there's a lot of writing to do. So let's take a look at Scrivener, which is the application I'm using to actually write the book, and you can see it right here. Here's the window that you write the book in, and then over here are all the sections or chapters in the book, and you can see I've got a ton of chapters in here, and they're all color-coded, and a lot of them have red flags. That red flag means, dude, you know you want to write about it, but you haven't written anything about it. And that's what's scaring me a lot right now. So I'm looking at this specific section about a concept I call BRANDles, which are brand handles. And I haven't written anything about that yet. And I think I need to start. So I'm going to do that tonight. And the way this works is I write the way I write, and you sit there and watch me mumble as I talk to the screen. Sorry, that's the way it works. And you can stick around. You can ask questions by typing them into the comment box wherever you're watching this, except Facebook, because I don't have Facebook's interface figured out yet. But if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube Live, you can ask questions at any time just by typing them into the comment box and hitting return, and I'll be able to see those things and respond to them appropriately, or more likely, inappropriately. That said, enough talk, let's write. Is it too much to call them BRANDles? So branding is clearly about differentiation and demonstration, comma, but there's one other thing it does that makes it so incredibly valuable. Well, not for you, but for the people who buy your products or services. It's a little thing I call a BRANDle. It aids aids in the creation of a little thing I call a BRANDle. I developed this concept a long time ago after hearing a story about a new business pitch that I was not involved with, but the agency I worked at was. A friend of mine who worked on the account side of things told me about a specific told me about specific presentation he witnessed, and its embarrassing aftermath. But let me share the story with you in a very familiar format, that of a fairy tale. Once upon a time, and a traditional B2B advertising agency was invited to a new business. Potentially huge new business pitch. At this initial stage, it was all about the presentation of credentials and service. Credentials and services. In other words, there was no need for a creative spec presentation as patient services. The new marketing director at the prospective company was mostly interested in understanding the lay of the land when it came to local marketing service firms, comma, and so no spec creative was necessary, and so no creative representative was needed in the meeting. The presenting team, consisting of senior account oriented people, arrived at their allotted time and took the client through the whole credentials, dog and pony show, dog and pony show of their services, background, client list, awards won, and a whole lot more. Once they finished, the new marketing director said something that was both very simple and incredibly deadly. So, who are you? You. The ad agency team looked at each other with more than a little confusion on their faces. They had just spent the last 45 minutes showing exactly who they were as an agency, and so they responded back with exactly that. The client said, "No, I get all that, stuff, comma, but who are you? Another pregnant pause caused him to continue with, I've already met the funky, cool, creative, boutique guys, comma, and another agency that was all about mobile first. Should I do? But who are you? More, what is nonplussed? I always want to say nonplussed, but I always get that word. More sweating and more sweating and confusion. On the client, on the agent's side of the table. With an added dollop of embarrassment too. This guy was asking for a simple phrase could sum up what the agency was all about. In just a few words, not PowerPoint slides or narrative paragraphs. And they had nothing. Now, had they had a creative in the room, they could have faked it pretty effectively, because that's what creatives do. But they didn't. And so the meeting ended with them slinking out of the room and never hearing from the marketing director again. Why? Because they didn't have a BRANDle. this is where I should point out all too common technique of mine. Whenever I want to underline a comment, a concept, or coined word or phrase as a big idea, I give it a TM. There are potential legal reasons for this, but it's really just about saying, see this? It's a big freaking idea. So pay attention to it. And that certainly applies to the BRANDle concept. A BRANDle is nothing more than a brand handle. This is exactly what that client marketing director was asking for. His "who are you?" question was really saying, what simple, memorable phrase is going to allow me to remember who you are, remember all the who you are, what you do, and how you do it, stuff you presented days and even weeks after you presented it. It's easy to remember that the funky, cool, creative, boutique guys were the ones who were all tatted up and who are all tatted up and skater Boyd dressed. It's also easy to remember that the mobile first agency that came in and presented on cell phones, presented their credentials via cell phones. It's also easier. But you who did the absolutely non-memorable presentation, PowerPoint, while dressed in the same damn blue suits. All of a sudden, the question of who are you makes a lot more sense. But the agency did not have a BRANDle. And they did not live happily ever after. All right, so this is the start of a new section. And I feel good about where it is right now, but it needs to go for another, I think it probably needs to go another 600 words or so. And I'm not going to do that tonight, but I've got a good start here, feeling good about it. I'm going to go in and change the red flag on this section to a yellow flag, which is my note to self saying, hey, dude, you've started this section and you've written a bunch in there, but it's nowhere near finished, so that I can come back to it later, maybe tomorrow, and finish it. But I've got a good start. I'm definitely coming back to it, going to read through it, going to trim stuff, going to add to it, do all that stuff. But the big thing for me is to always come down here and advance the ball on this book forward in one way or another every single night. And I just did. So I'm going to say goodnight because I did what I came here to do and I don't need to burn myself out. So I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand Podcast. A new episode comes out tomorrow. It's episode 106 with Stephanie Liu of lightscameralive.com. She's an expert in live streaming, and she's one of the reasons, frankly, that I'm doing this via live stream every single night, because she's convinced me of the power of live streaming to demonstrate who you are, what you do, and how you do it, and how you're different. So if you're wondering, why are you even doing this? I'll just point to Stephanie Liu and say, blame her. Anyway, that's episode 106 of the Nonfiction Brand Podcast. It comes out tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. on Monday, August 31st, 2020. So check out that episode, as well as the previous episode, number 105, because that's also featuring the lovely and talented Stephanie Liu. Love her, love what she has to say and share. I think you'll love her too. So definitely check that out wherever you get your fine podcasts for free. Until then, I'm going to say theme music. Take us on out. That's it for me tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.